Hello, everyone. I'm Robyn Grable, the founder of Talents Ascend and the Ascend Collective, and your host for Ascending Beyond Barriers. Welcome. Ascending Beyond Barriers is an inspiring podcast dedicated to showcasing the remarkable journeys of small business founders who have faced and overcome significant challenges on their path to success. Each episode delves into the personal stories of entrepreneurs from diverse backgrounds, highlighting their unique experiences, struggles, and triumphs. Joining us today is Heather the Hero Hudson, the powerhouse COO of Striking Brands, the name behind the popular fitness franchises 9Round Kickboxing Fitness and I Love Kickboxing. Heather is dedicated to helping franchise partners reach their financial goals by streamlining operations, enhancing communication, and developing scalable business systems. Beyond her executive role, she's a passionate speaker, mentor, sharing real-world insights and hard-earned lessons from her journey in business and franchising. Get ready for an inspiring conversation with a true leader in the fitness and franchise world. Thanks for being here, Heather. Thank you so much. And I added mentor because you have been mentoring me. So I truly appreciate all of your insights and all the help that you've given me so far along the way. So thank you for that. But let's get started. Just kind of tell us your journey and what led you to the point of starting 9Round and being involved in the fitness world.
Gosh, it's a long story, so I'll try and tell the Cliff's Notes version. But I want to thank you first for the kind words. I've enjoyed working with you. You have an incredible platform, and more people need to know about it. So Talents Ascend is very, very cool. So I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
I definitely don't know everything, but I do like to try to pass along what I've learned in the past 17 years, because I actually did not have the luxury of going to college. And that was for several reasons, financial being a big one, but I'm self-made. And my husband did go to college, but he's also self-made. So what I mean by that is there's really nobody that says, oh, you want to start a franchise? Let me tell you a couple of do's and don'ts.
Right.
There wasn't that, and there still kind of really isn't that.
Yeah.
So we had to do things, mess up, do some things that worked, celebrate, and keep trial and error whittling away. But my background as far as fitness goes, you could take it way, way back if you wanted to. My mom, my whole life, I was raised by a single mom. But the one thing that she really, really was into was staying active, drinking a lot of water. Those two things were like really instilled in me from an early age. So we were always drinking a lot of water. We didn't have soda in the house and things like that, which is great. And of course, I didn't think so at the time.
Right.
But also, she would check out Jane Fonda VHS tapes from the library because you could rent those for free. So if anyone listening doesn't know what a VCR is, Google it. But it's old. It was on demand before on demand was a thing. You wanted to watch something, you popped in the tape. But we would do cardio in our living room.
Wow.
And I did that even in middle school. So we were doing that, and then I like to say, wow, things got really serious when the teal weights came out, the 1 pound teal weights. So long story short, I grew up appreciating movement, fitness, structured fitness,
Good.
And so it taught me actually quite a bit about correct form, which was something I didn't realize I was picking up even through those types of videos.
Yeah.
So you fast forward to me being about 25 years old, and I decided I wanted to learn self-defense. So I have a 5-year-old daughter at the time. I walk into a karate school around the corner from my apartment, and that was my husband's karate school. He wasn't my husband yet. That thing's coming out right. Nice. He wasn't my husband yet. I didn't know him. So I walk in and I try to take self-defense lessons, and I take them for a month. But I end up falling in love with punching and kicking. You thought I was going to say him. Falling in love with punching and kicking. And I'd never felt this way when I was doing fitness before. I had never
Nice.
felt empowered by
Yeah.
fitness. So step aerobics was great, but punching and
Yeah.
kicking for fitness for me was empowering. And I felt more
Nice.
powerful internally. It was
Yeah.
more mental than even physical.
Yeah.
And I never looked back. I ended up getting my black belt. My daughter got her black belt. And then, yes, in between all of that, he and I started dating and we got married and we had a son and we're a family of four now and we've almost been married
Nice.
18 years. So
Wow.
I fell in love with two things.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thanks.
I will share my oldest grand cherub. She did karate since she was 6, and then
Mm-hmm.
she transitioned to jujitsu. But
Oh, that's
she
hard.
does it to for the physicality and the just the confidence and like you were talking about, just that awareness of yourself and just I can when you said that I resonated with it because I hear those words in her. So what a great, just what a great program. I'm not that physical, so step aerobics is about my jam. But
It doesn't
yeah,
matter, Robyn. It really doesn't.
no,
If you're moving, that's it. That's
yeah,
the secret. If
of
you
course,
like it, do it. If you can do
yeah,
it consistently, do it.
yeah,
It does not matter what it
yeah,
is.
very
For
true.
me, and just for a lot of women, punching and kicking is something that's surprisingly
Yeah,
empowering for
yeah,
them. And
sure.
that's actually how 9 Round was born.
Yeah, tell us about that.
So,
Tell us.
30 seconds on that. My husband is a pro fighter, meaning
Okay.
he actually signed up for professional kickboxing, professional boxing.
Wow.
And they're two different things. But
Mm.
um, when he was training for those, he would go to Atlanta to get real training because it's really hard to find like legit Philly
Mm.
style boxing training here.
Okay.
There are some great people in Greenville that do it, but at the time, the only one he really knew of was in Atlanta. So he would go there and then drive back, and he'd be thinking the whole time with his business brain, which can be dangerous, as we found
Sure.
out, but can also be very great. I need to make this boxing or kickboxing thing more accessible
More
to
accessible.
everyone who doesn't want to get punched in the face like he
Yeah.
does. So that's all of us. And he did it. He thought of this 30-minute circuit, something really non intimidating, something you can walk in and you don't have to start at 10 o'clock. You can start at 10:07. It doesn't really matter when you come in
Yeah.
because there's 9 different stations. You'll just hop on whatever one's available, kind of like curves, but
Okay.
kickboxing and
Okay.
co-ed. So it's just 30 minutes. You're in and out, and you've worked every single muscle in your body. You've punched and kicked all these different shaped bags. And we make sure our expertise is to get you through it very safely, feeling successful, not feeling like, oh, wow, I could never, because you can. I promise anyone can. Our job is to make sure you can. And we'll
Nice.
take anyone from where they're at and make sure they feel really great doing it. We modify as needed, of course. And you find out that you can punch
Yeah.
and kick. And then some people are like, whoa,
Yes.
I loved that.
Let's
And
rock.
guess 70% of the people that said, whoa, I love that are women.
Of
And so we
course.
were really surprised by that. Well, you say, of course, but back in '08, we were surprised by that. So,
Really.
yeah, we were. We
Of all
thought,
the suppression, just I don't know. I just feel like maybe it's because I'm an ex-wife, I have an ex-husband. I could just, imagine the punch in that bag. I've been like in my career stifled in certain things. You know what I mean? I
yeah, of
guess maybe for
course.
me because I've been down some of those roads, it doesn't sound not. I'm not surprised by that.
Well,
But yeah,
it seems obvious now. I
yeah,
think when we started it, we thought the dads from karate would come over and work
okay,
out. And it ended up being a lot more the moms. And I think
okay,
what happened was the guys looked at it and thought it's probably like Tybo and, like
mm-hmm.
girly. And they probably thought, not for
Yeah,
me.
not for me.
And
Yeah,
it's actually not at all like that.
and
So
they're missing out.
it's a big kickboxing party. So we have a lot of fun there. But
That
yeah,
is
that's kind of
awesome.
the story of how it got started. And
Amazing. So
I like
you've got the franchise business. What made you decide to not just open one, but then franchise it?
insanity. Oh no, not the right answer. Um, Because if we'd
It's a good
known, oh
answer.
my gosh. So it's actually, I have to give a lot of credit again to my husband because I didn't really know a lot about franchising and he did. See, my husband's a special breed. He is a very, very good martial artist,
Wow.
pro kickboxer, pro boxer.
Yeah.
He's got multiple black belts. I have
Wow.
2 black belts in 2 styles, but he's got at
Wow.
least 3 and under different teachers. And
Yeah.
then on top of that, he happens to have a very good business brain, which
Wow.
it's not the most common combination.
Sure.
So lucky me. And he was when he said, I've got this idea for a fitness gym, and first of all, do you want to do that? I was like, yeah, work in spandex all day. I love it. Let's do it. And he said, and then the goal would be to franchise it. And I said, what is a franchise again? That literally what I said. So, I'm 26-ish. What is a franchise?
Right.
He's
Yeah.
like, McDonald's. You can buy a McDonald's. It's a franchise. And so
Yeah.
I had to learn about that.
Sure.
And even though he knew what a franchise was and what the general idea of it, he had to learn too. Because like I
Of
said,
course.
there was no mentoring. Nobody was around to say,
Yeah.
this is a bad idea when you're franchising. This is a good idea.
Right. Give you the
Consider this,
playbook.
consider this.
Right. Yeah.
Right. We had to just hope we were making the right decisions, and we weren't. So we just had to make a lot of mistakes. But he originally said, I want it to be a franchise. So whatever we do, we need to be able to easily scale that so someone else can do it.
Yeah. Okay.
And it worked. It worked. So
Nice.
our first owners were members, and they came up to us before we were even maybe quite ready to franchise, saying,
Nice.
can I own one of these? Is this a franchise? Are there more of these? Is this the only one? And that's what you want, right? You want them to
Absolutely.
say, there's obviously bunches of these, right? I want one.
Yeah.
And so we went from there, but it was nice to see organic growth. I think that meant
Yeah.
the model was speaking for itself.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in that era where there was no Facebook yet, no
Okay.
digital ads yet.
Wow.
Meta wasn't a thing. We were really, really grassroots, and it was word of mouth and paper things. So
Wow.
it wasn't as digital as it is now, but
Yeah.
word of mouth became our best advertisement for the gym itself.
Okay.
And then organic growth from membership base became a lot of our owners. I mean, our first 5-ish, maybe more owners were members first. And that went on for years. They would open a studio, and then a member of that studio would want to open one,
Sure.
in the same city. So we
That's
grew that
great.
way. Really.
Which again speaks very highly of what you and your husband learned, because duplicating that and making it successful is hard. And having that success that you've had, how many franchises do you have now?
Right under 400.
Oh
And
my God.
we're in 18 countries. We're really proud of that because after COVID,
Wow.
we do have less studios, but we still have 18 countries. And what is so unbelievably cool and almost historically cool is Iraq is about to be the one to open our 18th
Wow. Oh my
country.
gosh.
They're
Wow.
almost open right now, and it's just so it's encouraging to me to see that kind of
Yeah.
collaboration come together,
Wow.
having everything we've all been through. So it's so nice to see that collaboration come together. That country,
Yeah.
we're now allies in kickboxing. We're friends in
Awesome.
9Round, and
Yeah.
it's very humbling and
Yeah.
very surreal. But our international presence is actually just as strong as our U.S. presence, and growing rapidly. So
That's
it's
amazing. And I'm
wild.
sure there are people out there that are wondering, okay, how did you go global? Like what what were the steps to do that? Because talk about going beyond barriers. There are a lot of barriers to doing business around the world. Tell us about that. How did you decide that that was the path to take?
I don't remember exactly deciding. I think that we were just saying global domination's the goal. So that means that we will be outside the US. We have to. And obviously, we went to Canada. That was easy, it's
Okay.
right there. So there's actually a specific career where international broker is your position. And that's
Okay.
what we have. We have this amazing
Nice.
person who specifically finds you what you call a master developer. And they
Okay.
end up owning an entire country, committing to a term to open X amount of locations in that country, which is always custom done dependent on the size of it.
Yeah.
Like Japan had a different amount of locations they committed to than Mexico.
Wow.
But the first deal this broker did for us was Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
And it was such a fun story because
Yeah.
they came here to little old East Butler Road, worked out in our studio, the
Wow.
original studio, and right next door is a rotisserie chicken place. We went there for lunch, shook hands over some plates of, quarter white with two sides,
Oh
and they
God.
said, "We're in." And the broker
Wow.
was like, "This doesn't happen. This
Wow.
probably isn't going to happen." And we were like, "Yes, it will." We were so naive. Everything we touch turns to gold. It will. But it did. And now they have
Yay.
around 57 locations in Saudi Arabia, and they're our largest international master of all
Wow.
the 18 countries. So fabulous people. So fabulous. They're just wonderful.
Wow. No, I'm not versed in geography very well, but Saudi Arabia is not a very big country, is it? 57 locations? Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what state it's the size of, but it's definitely bigger than Iraq or Kuwait or
Yeah. Okay.
those
All
countries
right.
surrounding it. But it's a bigger in the Middle
Wow.
East. It's one of the bigger ones.
That's amazing.
But yeah, they're very very sophisticated. I
Wow.
mean, they are the country itself is so impressively just full of wealth everywhere you look.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
And my husband's gotten to go there twice, and they're just,
Nice.
you talk about hospitality,
Yeah.
not just Saudi Arabia, but our international masters, Mexico, Japan, all of them, Australia, New Zealand, I could go on and on, all of them, all 18, are the most hospitable, generous, and like emulate this kind of giving when you have a
Wow.
guest. Costa Rica, they're so wonderful to us when we visit.
Wow.
And I love my kids being able to see that
Yeah.
everyone's the same. This is a
Yeah.
global economy, and
Right.
everywhere you go, borders don't matter. People
I
are
know.
people,
Yep.
and there are amazing, wonderful, great, great people everywhere. And we get to see that firsthand. My kids have gotten to eat dinner with
Nice.
Mexico, Saudi Arabia,
Yeah.
Japan many times. So it's just very, very cool.
That, I mean, as you're talking, I'm thinking 9 round is world peace. We just need to have 9 rounds all over the world and create world peace. I mean,
I think that's a
truly,
great
because
2025
we
goal.
are all humans. We all are, deserving of those good things in life. And just because we don't agree on what is good for you, what's good for me, we can have that compromise. Wow, that's
My
very
husband,
inspiring.
thank you. My husband likes to say fitness is a universal language
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he's visited other countries and helped conduct a workout, even though he didn't speak the language, because he can just
You
demonstrate
show, yeah. Yeah.
and they follow. So, and same for them. They
It's
can train him
amazing.
as well, and he just
Right?
follows. So
Wow.
it's true. Beliefs aside, we can all agree on
Yeah.
9 round. And you're right. Maybe that will be the new way we get to world peace. I like that. So
That's amazing.
that
And
makes
I will get to say, and I knew them when.
and I coined the phrase 9 round
Here in little
world
old
peace.
Simpsonville, South Carolina, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Malden,
You
South
never
Carolina.
know.
Wow, that's amazing. So, how did the name? I just touched a little bit more on the business, but how did the name 9 round come about? Why? What are the nine? Is it always a 9 round circuit? Is that just where it came from, like each
Yeah,
station, or was it? Did you develop the 9 stations to call it 9 round? How did
yeah.
you name your
That's
business?
great question. So again, my husband, back of the napkin, 9 different stations, 3 minutes each. He said,
Wow. Okay.
my typical workout is I start with jump rope and then I do a little bit of push-ups or calisthenics and a shadow box. Then I'll hit these bags, speed bag, and then I'll do some abs. That's 9 different stations. So he drew it out. And the coolest thing is, despite all of the myriads of changes that have come our way as a business model because of just evolution, the
Sure.
9 stations have never changed, meaning
Nice.
it's still those original 9. It's still the original same order that he drew it out as. Now, what we do at those stations has evolved into something a little more complex and
Okay.
fun and different each day. It's different every single day. So if you imagine coming in and thinking, we've all probably heard of a heavy bag. Oh,
Right.
well, round 4 is always the heavy bag, of course, because it's not going to move. That sounds like it would get a little boring. Well, no, because you do something different on round 4 every day. You
Okay.
might do 20 punches and 10 round kicks today. Tomorrow you might do sit up and hook the bag,
Wow.
something different on that
Okay.
same exact bag. So every
Nice.
single day, all 9 stations change. But it's really neat to know that his original drawing is still the original layout, which is really cool.
That's
But
nice.
you always come in and do 9,
Okay.
and that equals 30 minutes because there's a
Mhm.
break between each one.
Sure.
But the cool thing is, if station 1 is already taken, you could start on 2
Sure.
and
Yeah.
go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, and then leave. So,
Yes.
it's not always a 1 through 9, which
Okay.
makes the no class time thing mean you can literally walk in any
Yeah.
time and get started, and you're in and out, and we can plug you in almost instantly usually.
Wow.
So that's very neat. And the name, it is a 9-round workout.
Sure.
And so that is how the name came to be. One of the
Nice.
biggest questions we get asked is, why didn't you call it 9 rounds?
Mm.
And sometimes we're like, maybe we should have, because everybody says 9 rounds. And we're like, there's no S. But it is what it
But
is.
like us, we always have to say it's talents with an S.
Talents and yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I get it. Wow. Now, is the gym, is it open to children, or is there a certain age requirement?
So um, we say around 12 years old,
Okay.
maybe. So it just
Perfect.
depends on their height and
Okay.
attention span. If they
Yes.
love it and they can reach all the bags, great. There you go.
Okay.
If
I'm
they're,
thinking of my oldest grandson who's about to turn 13 in 2 days.
yeah,
He's not very physical, but he enjoys that activity, just not for a very long time. So
mhm,
I think he would really get into the 3 minute at each
mhm.
station, really just doing that workout. And of course, he would get me to come too.
Ooh, that sounds good. So it's just a matter of, we give you a free workout first, see what, just so you can try it
Do
out,
you
because
like
it's
it? Yeah.
unique and a lot of people just don't know what to expect.
Right.
All teenagers are different, and preteens.
Yes.
Some of them can focus for 3 minutes on
Yeah.
each station, and some are just like, this is just not for me. And
Yeah.
that's okay either way, maybe in a year or two, or maybe never. But
Right.
it's for some people, and that's great. But we do have, if you're a minor, you have to have an adult with you. But
Okay.
yeah, we could just see and
Yes.
try it out.
That'd be awesome. All right.
Hmm.
Well, we've only got a couple minutes left. This has gone so fast. Oh my
It
goodness.
has. I can't
I,
believe we just started
I
talking.
know, right? I have had the privilege and the gift of your mentorship and talking about, how to start a business, how to grow a business, all those things. Give us your best advice for somebody who's struggling in their business to grow. What would you tell them to focus on?
Hmm. Marketing comes to mind, and marketing with
Nope.
clarity.
Okay.
So I would say, go to someone who will be brutally honest with you and not tell you,
Yes.
oh, it's great, even if
Right.
it's not, right? You want this person who will say, yeah, I don't understand
Right.
I love you, and I don't quite know if the point's coming across.
Yep.
So a lot of times, because marketing is so different than it was when we started, and with algorithms and everything that happens in, cookies that follow you. That sounds funny. If you were like
Right.
40 years ago, if you'd said that, someone would be like, what kind of nightmare are you having?
Are you Hansel
But
and Gretel, or what's happening?
yeah, what cookies? But because everything is so smart and follows you,
Yeah.
marketing's bananas right now. I mean,
Yeah.
it's very, 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 very hard to stand out.
Yeah.
So things quickly become white noise, and so authenticity right now is the thing. Everyone's tired of being sold. They
Yeah.
want authenticity, and they want you to get right to it in a
Yeah.
nanosecond. They want to know your real business, not trying to take their money and trick them, not trying to oversell them something they don't really need.
Yeah.
And so I would just encourage someone who's struggling, is it your marketing? And it
Yeah.
might be
Yeah.
that there's a huge misunderstanding in the market about what you do, lots of confusion about what you do. Maybe you're over talking when you present or pitch and you don't need to, and you need to have a little focus group that'll tell you, and you could go to your current customers for that and say, what was it that made you go, I have to have this? And that's what we
Yeah.
did. Why did you join 9Round? Tell us what it was.
Yeah.
And we use that to reverse engineer and turn it into ads. They would say, I love the blah, blah, blah. And we would take that and make it into an ad. Because
Nice.
if that's what drew them in, then I need to tell more people that's what we do. So find
Yeah.
out what your current customer base, even if it's one customer, if you're struggling, what is it that they loved and said, this has got to be something I have got to have.
Yeah.
Then take that and try to make that your advertisement, because that could probably get more people like your current customer in.
Yeah.
And that just takes a lot of being willing to be wrong, being willing to say, but no, this is perfectly understandable. And if everyone's telling you, no, it's not,
Yeah.
love you though,
Right.
then are you willing to say, okay, well, I really thought it was clear, but it only was to me. So I
Yeah.
need to say things that are clear to everyone else and get out of my own head if I want a
Yeah.
lot of customers.
Yep.
And that can be hard for a lot of founders because we're so proud of what we've done. And
Right.
it's so obvious it's the best thing since sliced bread. And we're just like,
Right.
why don't you get it?
Yeah.
Well, if they don't get it, we have to change what we're saying and
Right.
how so that they do get it, because we do have great products, right, Robyn? And
Yeah.
we really can help a ton of people if they
Yes.
just know what we do,
Yeah.
so that we can get them in and try and show them how it could benefit their life. So
Absolutely.
that's the first thing that came to my head. And that
No, it's
is
good.
spoken through true trial and error. So
And you've helped us in that regard too, because you've been brutally honest with me and given us some great insights. No, it's fantastic, because you're right. As a founder, this is my baby.
yep.
Nobody thinks their baby's ugly, right? And
No.
so, yeah. But the ugly truth is that I have it all in my head and I know what I want to say, and I get so excited about it. I probably overtalk, or, I say all the wrong things. And I've recently, just last week, going through all the things you've said, I've whittled things down to 3 main points for our value proposition. So I'm so excited to keep using that. I had a really great call last week with it. But yeah, you're so right. Founders get stuck in their own head and stuck in their own ways, and they truly need somebody they can trust to help them get out of the forest and see the lovely trees. So, well,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Heather. I'm so excited for you, and I can't wait to watch 9Round continue to grow. And I will get myself and my grandson in there, at least for a free tryout, see if we like it.
Let
I'm
me
not
know.
that
I'll
physical,
meet
but it
you
could be
there.
fun.
I'll meet you
But
there if you go, and we'll work
yes,
together.
absolutely. That sounds great. Well, thank you so much for being on.
For
Great
having
talking with
me.
you.
You're too sweet. Thank you.